ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So previous to this, Lord Kapila very systematically describes about how the living entity becomes bewildered in this material world and he becomes entangled in this material. So in the last verse we saw, divided into varieties by her threefold modes, material nature creates the form of the living entities. So the Supreme Lord, He accepted this material energy for His pastime, to create this material existence for the sake of living entities, to give them a chance to enjoy, and also to give them a chance to rectify their mentality. The mentality of trying to enjoy independent of the Supreme Lord, thinking himself to be Purusha and not understanding that actually he is Prakriti. He should enjoy in relation to original Purusha. So, because of that, the Lord creates this material world, and the influence of three modes of material nature grants him varieties of bodies. Gunair vichitra srajatim. So many forms, millions of forms of life exist in this world. That is created by the combination of these three modes of material nature. And then what happened? The influence of these three modes of material nature, it bewilders the living entity, and his knowledge, original knowledge, becomes covered. Just like when a person is sleeping in the night, his original knowledge becomes covered. He forgets his reality and he imagines something. He is thinking, now I have become a king, this is my palace, I have a queen, I have so much of money. That is all imagination, it is not a reality. Reality is, he is sleeping and till he becomes awakened, he does not understand his reality. Similarly, this knowledge covering feature of illusory energy, it is called avarnatmika shakti. That energy of the Lord which covers our real identity. So that means what? We forget our real identity, and then as per the modes of material nature, we identify ourselves with the body which is given by material energy. When the living entity is given the body of a dog, he thinks himself to be a dog. He forgets that actually I am not a dog, I am spirit soul, I belong to Krishna, I belong to spiritual world. So by the influence of this material energy of the Lord, what is the two very important symptom of material existence or material energy of the Lord? One is it covers the original knowledge of the living entity. That is called forgetfulness. Krishna bhuliya jeev. That is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Forgetfulness of our original relation with Krishna. Just like the example is given, naturally we find the son is related to father in a relation where naturally he should respect his father because father provides all his necessities. Correct? That's a natural relationship. But sometimes we find that the son being maddened, rather than being obedient and being respectful to the father, he insults the father. Prabhupada says that once he experienced this, that someone who was known to Srila Prabhupada, his son had become mad. The moment he would see his father, he would be so maddened that left and right he would insult his father. So that is not a natural relationship. Naturally, father is superior, the son is inferior. The son is dependent on his father. That is natural. So, but being maddened, instead of respecting the father, he insults his father because he forgets his relationship with his father out of forgetfulness. Similarly, Krishna very clearly says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva yonishu kaunteya, all the living entities in all varieties of different births, species of life we may exist in. Krishna says, Aham bija pradapitaha, I am that seed-giving father. So, if he is the father, then actually, naturally we should be obedient, respectful, we should be serving him. That is our natural position. But what is the problem? The disease of Maya is so acute that we forget this relationship of the Supreme Lord and we become maddened by illusion. I am the enjoyer. I will enjoy. I am independent. Correct? Who is God? Where is God? There is no God. Then, naturally, we should be dependent, we should be serving, but out of forgetfulness, the living entity acts madly. Pishachi paile mati chanda haya. It is just like when one is haunted by a ghost, he speaks, whatever he speaks is only nonsense. Or when one is intoxicated, he speaks only nonsense. So this is our position in the material world. Being intoxicated by Maya, we speak all nonsense. We perform activities which are meaningless, which have no meaning. Isn't it? So, Prabhupada relates the incident of Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami, even though he was a very learned scholar, he presented himself to be one who does not understand who is he. Ke ami. And why am I suffering in this material world? Tapatraya. Why these threefold miseries are giving so much trouble to the living entities? So then, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts explaining that your suffering is due to your forgetfulness of your original position. You see, that is what it is explained. Krishna, bhuli Rajiv, bhogavancha kare, because the living entities, forgetting his relation with Krishna, wants to enjoy independently, and because of that reason, the living entity is captured by Maya. Maya tare jhapatiya dhare, nikatasthe Maya. And then, because of that, he suffers in this material world. He becomes mad and he thinks, ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. That is what it is explained. Today's verse, what is the result? All activities are performed by material nature. Material nature forces him to act in a certain way. And he is acting helplessly in that way. And still he is thinking, I am independent, I am acting myself. All these are my activities. It is just like a dog who is actually chained by the master, and for some time he is jumping on the seashore and he is thinking, I am independent. There is another very nice example Prabhupada gives. There is a bird called bird. So, they are trained in such a way that even if they are given freedom, they don't fly away. So what the master does, he leaves the bird for some time and he goes around here and there. And then the master says, kit, 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 kit. So again when he makes that sound, immediately the bird comes back to the cage. Actually he is free. He can fly away. But he is so conditioned that he does not know that actually he is free. Similarly, the living entity, being in illusion by Maya, does not understand that actually human life is meant for freedom. Rather, he is so illusioned by Maya that he does not want to go out of the grip of Maya. That is the state of living entity. And it is because of this mentality that the living entity is suffering. Otherwise, he has no suffering. The spirit soul has nothing to do with this material body. The suffering of this material body, the happiness of this material body, soul has nothing to do. But it identifies as if everything is being done by me. So if everything is being done by you, then you suffer. When you understand everything is being done by the energy of the Lord, then you don't identify. Isn't it? It's very simple. Prabhupada gives an example. It's just like the moment you chain a dog, you put a belt around him and claim it is my dog, then you are responsible for it. If the dog goes and passes stool in somebody else's house, then he will fight with you. He will say, why your dog has passed stool in my house? Correct? Because you are claiming it is my dog. But if you don't claim it is my dog, then that person has nothing to fight with you. isn't it? So similarly, the moment I say these activities are done by me, then I am responsible for those activities. The moment I understand these activities are not carried on by me, it is carried on by three modes of material nature, then we are free. And then we will become free from the influence of three modes. So this we do not know. This is in ignorance. In ignorance, the living entity assigns the activities done by material nature to himself. I have done these activities. Karta aham. I am the doer. He is not the doer actually. He is only desirer. This is the distinction we have to understand. Man proposes, correct? The Lord disposes. He gives. He gives through material nature. So, our activity is only desiring. The living entity can change his desires, and that's how he can become purified. This mentality, I should enjoy. So the moment he desires to enjoy independently, then accordingly the three modes of material nature will act on him, and then activities will be carried on by three modes of material nature. Let us say, for example, you want to enjoy. So what will happen? Then lust will overtake you. Lust will drive you to do certain kind of activity, isn't it? And then you perform sinful activity, and then you suffer. This is how it acts. But if we understand that actually I should not desire to enjoy this material world independent of Krishna, I should desire to serve Krishna, then what will happen? The grip of material energy will be slackened. It will not act, it will not force you to do certain things. Otherwise, as Arjuna asked in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, why the living entity is helpless in doing certain activity? He does not even want to do sometimes. Correct? Sometimes we find this. A man who is very lusty, he may sometimes think why I should do. But the modes of material nature are so strong, they impel him to do certain kind of activity. And later on he is regretting, I should not have done, I should not have done. See, this is the understanding. Once you desire to enjoy, you cannot become free. The modes of material nature are very strong. They will impel you to do certain activity. So at the desire level, we have to change our consciousness. So instead of thinking I will enjoy, we have to change the mentality, I should serve. I want to serve Krishna, not enjoy. So when this mentality is changed, then what will happen? Maya will slacken its grip on the living entity. And then sometimes, yes, no doubt, because of our past association with the modes of material nature, these three modes of material nature, sometimes these thoughts will come. But we have to keep rejecting. No, I don't want to serve my senses. I want to serve Krishna. So then what will happen? Then Maya will give up. And once we develop taste in serving Krishna, then actually Maya cannot take control. So this is how one can get out of the influence of three modes of material nature. So he understands, he sees, actually the living entity is helplessly working under the three modes of material nature. Helplessly it is. Can't do anything. So what we should do? We should gradually promote them from lower guna to higher guna, where he will have choice to make. Imagine you go and preach to a drunkard, come to the temple daily. Very difficult. He is conducted by three modes of material nature. Ignorance and passion is acting so much on him, very difficult. Yesterday I was there in the market. One person was there, he was telling me, Swamiji, very difficult. When in the beginning I left my family, I was thinking if I can get 10,000 rupees for my family, I will be satisfied. Then the Lord sanctioned, I got 10,000 monthly. Then I started thinking, when I saw my neighbors, that they are doing much better than me, then why I should not have at least 40,000 monthly? And then he endeavored in that direction, and then he said, God sanctioned 40,000. And then I saw other people who were more richer than me. I thought, why I should be satisfied with 40? We are 4 of us. If every member can have 1 lakh rupees monthly, 4 lakh monthly, then I will be satisfied. And then he said, God sanctioned that also. And he was saying that now the life has become so terrible, I have no peace of mind. Still, the desires are not giving it up. Still the mind is hankering more and more and more. See, it's a fact. So very difficult. People who are too much influenced by Bhogeshwarya Prasaktanam Taya Prahata Chetasam, those who are bewildered by Maya, very difficult to preach to them. Only Krishna can help them. We can try our best we can do. Isn't it? So, at least we should take advantage of people who are somehow or other, by their good karma, they're educated, born in good families, they have got good culture in their life, at least those people. And of course, by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, Sankirtana is the Yuga Dharma of this age. And it is a fact that even people who are demoniac, even people who are drunkards, woman hunters, even such people can become influenced by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We see the example of Jagai and Madhai. Lord Nityananda, he was able to deliver such fallen people. So for such fallen people in the age of Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the simplified method of chanting the holy name of the Lord, which is so potent that immediately it can bring us to the modes of goodness, and gradually we will become transcendental to the 3 modes, and we will be able to practice devotional service. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu relates to Sanatana Goswami one very interesting story. He tells him from Madhvacharya's commentary on Bhagavatam on 5th Canto. He tells him about a story that what is the condition of the living entity in this material world. He says, there was an astrologer by name Sarvagna. So that astrologer, he saw that one man, very poverty-stricken, suffering like anything, nothing to eat, struggling for existence. And then immediately he saw his horoscope. And he saw in his horoscope that actually he has great riches with him. His father has left immense treasure for him. But somehow what has happened, his father died in a foreign place and he was not able to reveal to him that hidden treasure. So he goes and explains to him. He said, my dear sir, your father has left you so much immense treasure. You are not supposed to be suffering like this. Your father is a rich man and he has left so much treasure for you. I will tell you where to find that hidden treasure. Then he says, my dear sir, this treasure, it is being guarded from 3 sides. Be very careful not to dig on that side, otherwise you will be bewildered. You will not be able to get that treasure. Which side you should dig, I will tell you. So he says, don't dig on the southern side. On south side, don't dig. Because there is a poisonous wasp. So if you dig on that side, you will be bitten by poisonous wasp. And you will not be able to trace out that treasure. So what is that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, Madhvacharya explains, what is that wasp? So our condition is like this in this material world. Our Father, the Supreme Lord, has left immense treasure of Krishna Prema. Unfortunately, we are not aware of it. So, on the southern side, if we try to look out for this treasure, we will be bewildered. We will be bitten by poisonous wasp. And what is that? Vedic rituals. We should not get carried away by the different kinds of rituals which are mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. Because that can only promote us to some heavenly planets. And then we will have to come back to this lower planets once again, lower life of existence once again. Sheena punye mritya lokam vishanti. Again we come back. And then he says, don't even try on the western side. The treasure is being guarded by an evil spirit called Yaksha. And if you want to take advantage and think, no, Yaksha will help me, he will only kill you. Correct. Evil spirit, you think that he will help you in finding out the treasure? Rather, he will finish you off. So, the example is given, it is like mental speculation. If you take help of your mind to find that treasure, you will be simply killed by your speculative mind. So don't try that. And then he says, similarly, don't try it on the northern side also. There is a poisonous serpent, huge serpent. And the example is given that even a small serpent, it is finding out its food when it is finally eaten away by bigger serpent. So similarly, the living entities who become frustrated from this material world, trying to find out perfection in this world, they are eaten away by the serpent of process called dhyana, meditational process. Because by this process, he wants to merge in the existence of God. It is like committing suicide. It is like being eaten away, the smaller serpent being eaten away by bigger serpent. When we merge in Brahman, this is how it is given. The example is given. So, the only side which is convenient left, where you can find the treasure, is eastern horizon, eastern side. And that is the devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So it's only by devotional service that this treasure of Krishna Prema one can attain. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this age of Kali Yuga, Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hi Upadritaha, when one is bewildered by so many different kinds of symptoms of this age of Kali. One is unfortunate, one is lazy, not only materially lazy, spiritually lazy. Materially lazy means getting up early, not getting up early in the morning, very late. And even material activities he is not inclined, more like in tamoguna, that is materially lazy. Spiritually lazy means he has no time for spiritual life, no interest in spiritual life. Spiritually lazy. Manda. Sumanda Matayo. And even if he is inclined, then there are so many cheaters to cheat him. Sumanda Matayo. Manda Bhagya Hi Upadrataha. Very easily agitated because so many varieties of material activities. You can see varieties are there. It's a mela, fair of material activities. Bewilderment after bewilderment. Isn't it? You can see. And that is why he is easily agitated. Because he is roaming around in the fair of material activities. Mind will always be agitated. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being very merciful, he is giving Krishna Prema simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Two effects of chanting the holy name of the Lord. We were reading in Namamrita in the mornings. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one gets completely delivered from the three modes of material nature. He becomes mukta. The three modes of material nature will not be able to have an influence on him. He becomes liberated from the influence of three modes. And he can get Krishna Prema. He can get place at the lotus feet of the Lord, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is aspiring. Ashlishya vapadaratam pinashtumam. My dear Lord, please pick me up from this material existence. Place me like a small atom, dust at your lotus feet. Isn't it? So, chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that simply by chanting, one will become liberated and one will get Krishna Prema. That immense treasure which is actually obtainable in this human form of life, we can get. So, it is very essential that the more we try to spread the holy name of the Lord, this Sankirtana Yagna, the more they will also become advanced, and similarly we also become advanced in devotional service. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted specifically from everyone, especially in India. Bharat bhumi te janma hoilo yaar, janma sarthak kari karo paropkar. We should make our life successful and then we should try to spread Sankirtan movement and pass it on to others so that they can also be benefited. So that is the essence of this verse which is being explained here. We'll stop with this. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।